Hey SP1, I'm the equity elephant.
And I am the gender giraffe.
And this is our video on gender equity education.
It turns out that the doctoral dissertation dinosaur can't make it today. She is too busy working on her PhD thesis.
That's too bad. She was going to tell us all about the pedagogical and psychological theories examining gender as a social construct differing from sex.
Well, we've all read the textbook. I want to go beyond the theory. I want to know how to implement gender equity into my classroom.
You're right, Gender Giraffe. I happen to have this list of great practical tips on gender equity that you can actually use in your classroom.
Oh no. Not more practical classroom tips from Moeezy. If I had a nickel for every one of those, I'd have a dime.
If you are an educator committed to achieving gender equity in your classroom, follow these do's and don'ts from the TDSB Gender Equity Resource Guide. They have 9 different strategies and we're going to take a look at some of them. 2 of the tips in the guide are, explore and challenge concepts of stereotyping and prejudice, and encourage group work, cooperative learning and mixed groups. Let's explore how these principles are applied in The Simpsons.
Principal Skinner is going to be replaced by women's educational expert Melanie Upfoot. Children, meet your new principal.
For too long, there's been an anti-woman bias in math. Boys are aggressive, obnoxious, and never let us be heard. From now on, I am splitting the school in 2, separating the boys and the girls forever.
You heard your principal. Girls on the left, boys on the right.
Now that the boys and their atmosphere of intimidation are gone, we can finally breathe. Breathe, ladies. Now let's buckle down and do some math.
Yes!
How do numbers make you feel? What does a plus sign smell like? Is the number 7 odd or just different?
Are we going to do any actual math problems?
Problems? That's how men see math, something to be attacked, to be figured out.
But isn't it? I mean, confidence building can't replace real learning.
Uh-oh, Lisa. Sounds like you're trying to derail our self-esteem engine. Let's sing it back on the tracks.
The best thing I can ever be is to be okay with me. Me!
Teachers should actively work to disrupt gender binaries and not assume that men and women inherently think, prefer, feel, or process things differently. According to the TDSB Equity Guide, teachers should explore concepts of stereotypes and prejudices so that students can learn to challenge them when they happen.
What exactly does that mean?
Well, you see, Gender Giraffe, gender is a social construct that is constantly evolving and shifting, so it is important not to oversimplify and project binaries onto your students.
Thank you, Equality Elephant. I never thought about it like that. Since gender is a social construct, we should be able to teach our students to reject and unlearn gender norms and constrictions that have been reinforced and embedded into societal institutions, such as the classroom.
Now, let's take a look at another strategy from the guide. Insist that all students take equal responsibility for classroom jobs.
Lead guitar. Zack Attack. Take a seat. On bass, Posh Spice. On keyboards, Mr. Cool. And on drums, Spazzy McGee. Okay, Blondie, brace face, you're singing backup. All right, tough guy, shortstop, fancy pants, get over here. You guys are on security detail. Top, Roadrunner, Turkey sub. We are gonna have a lot of equipment. We're talking amps, electric guitars, maybe even lasers, and smoke machines.
Dude, where's my spaceship? It looks like Mr. Shani Blee is practicing gender equality in the classroom.
Well, Gender Giraffe, he tried to promote equal responsibility among the jobs in the classroom by creating a mixed gender band and stage crew. But he also reinforced traditional gender roles by assigning the girls as backup singers and boys as security.
You're spot on.
Indeed I am, Gender Giraffe. Indeed I am. Now, here is another strategy to use in your classroom. Use inclusive, non-discriminatory language, and encourage your students to do the same.
Steady, Bart. Taking ballet doesn't make you any less of a man.
All right, girls. Today we learn the dance of the fairy queens. You can either be a fairy or a queen. It's wide open. And what have we here? A young man, maybe, who thinks he can be the next Baryshnikov?
I don't want to be the next anything. I'm only taking this stupid class because they made me.
So, he has fire in the belly. But it will take more than belly fire to be the next Baryshnikov.
Look, Boris, I think ballets for sissies.
Ballet is for the strong, the fierce, the determined, but for the sissies, never. Now, put on the sfoosiatard. You are a fairy. Is something wrong, Mr. Simpson?
I don't like wearing tights, ma'am.
But so many of your heroes wear tights. Batman, for example. And Magellan.
Look, I don't like this cootie platoon, and I never will. I'm out of here, and I'm out of this stupid outfit. Wait. Joy of movement increasing. Love of dance impossible to resist. Toes twinkling. Look at me, girls. I'm doing ballet. And I love it!
It is important for teachers and students to use inclusive and non-discriminatory language in the classroom.
What do you mean?
Teachers should educate students about using language that does not project stereotypes about gender. For example, when Bart refers to himself as a sissy, he is implying that women are sissies and that women and sissies are associated with weakness. By contrast, masculinity is associated with strength. These are problematic gender binaries. It is crucial to avoid using vocabulary that is used in stereotypical ways.
Bloody brilliant.
But remember, Gender Giraffe, it's not just about reversing gender norms, but it's also about teaching everybody that gender should not be the characteristic that determines who we are and what we can achieve.
I will definitely implement these TDSB instructional strategies to promote gender equity in the classroom.
I hope you do, Gender Giraffe. And I hope all of you in SP1 do too. Did you notice when Bart shed his expected gender norms imposed on him by a patriarchal society? He was able to fully embrace his love for dance? Imagine if we could all live in a world where we too shed our gender norms. Imagine the kind of world we could live in.
That would be smashing. As teachers, we can begin to build that kind of a beautiful world by first building it in our classrooms.
Well, SP1, that's the end of our presentation on gender equity. We have reviewed 5 out of the 9 proposed strategies in the TDSB Gender Equity Resource Guide. Make sure to explore the rest of the guide when you can. And don't be afraid to come up with some of your own gender-bending philosophies too. What works in one class will look different in another class. Ending gender oppression will take devotion and creativity. Do you have what it takes?
That's enough. Now it's time for us to tip a pint in celebration of all of today's great YouTube videos.
Happy holidays to all from Equity Elephant
And Gender Giraffe.